and hiring snipers, there's nothing else he can do. And right now, he's at a corner. The ICC is watching, the international community is watching. The UN already told him that he cannot abuse Kenyans. The press is all over him. Ruto is at his weakest point. This is the time to go for the kill. If we don't do it now, he will recover and he will defeat everything that we are fighting for. Now, people said, so what happens after he resigns? I had proposed something very, very simple. We set up, and I'm not saying people have to agree to this, but it can be debated and people have to tell me what other better ideas they have. We set up an independent, a national transitional authority, which is voluntary, of 54 professional volunteers comprising youth, men, and women of integrity from all nationalities, all religious backgrounds. 54 because we are about 54 communities. So no community to be left out of this transitional council because it has to represent transitional authority because it must represent everyone. Small and big communities represented equally. This authority will set up an independent investigative authority to investigate all questionable land transactions, corruption scandals, allegations of all institutional and individual abuses, political assassinations from 1963 to present. This has not been done before. This is equivalent to the Nuremberg process in Germany after the Nazis were defeated. All right? When Hitler was defeated, a system, a process was set into place. The third thing that we need to set up, which this National Transitional Authority will do, is to reconstitute the IBC within 2 weeks. You cannot allow Ruto to reconstitute the IBC. That would be stupid because the people he will be putting there will be people that will be serving his interests for 2027. That is exactly the problem that people had in 1992 after Moi allowed the multipartyism, or in 2002 when Kibaki took power, or in 2018 after the National Accord was put into place. We allowed politicians with vested interest to nominate their own people that will serve their own interest. The result will exactly be what we have now or worse. The elections of 2027 will not be democratic because we will have vested interest controlling the process. These bodies will be the ones, once the investigations complete, once the prosecutions continue and proceed, that you will have a transformed judiciary. You will have a transformed IBC. You will have a transformed national and county political systems. And we will be completely liberated. And this can be done. The elections can be held in 3 months. People think that elections are a very complicated thing. India organizes elections in 1 month, and India is the most populous country in the world, and they have more than 2.5 billion people. I mean, Britain just announced an election. They're holding it in a month. France held elections in 3 weeks. Elections are not the most complicated things. And in fact, Rosalyn Akombe, who is listening and is part of this discussion, and produced a report because she was part of the IBC in 2017, has recommended on a report I have posted on my handle at page 7 to 12 what it is that requires to be done with the IBC. She's saying, and she's been there, you cannot have a government in power that has abused power, that has been alleged to have stolen elections, that have looted money, that controls all levels of power to reconstitute the IBC. You would be a fool. It's like telling me you come to my house, you invade it, And then you ask me, which room should I spend in for tonight? I will give you a room strategically so that I can finish you at night. We cannot be that stupid. And Ruto should not think that we are that stupid. So basically, that's the way forward. We cannot clutter the demands. It cannot be a laundry list of 10 things. The moment you have demands that are more than 3 items, you are confused. The state knows they can use you. All these pamphlets that I'm seeing on Twitter, all these things are mostly done by NIS. They are doing them to infiltrate. They are doing them so that they can come back and undermine the entire process. People like Itumbi are producing glossy, nice looking letterheads, and they are producing as if they are on the side of the Gen Z revolution and putting Ruto must go. Don't be deceived by this laundry list of demands. Those laundry list of demands contradict the first demand. If we are saying Ruto must go, why would you expect somebody you are saying must go to be doing things for you so that he can go? What are you waiting for? You get rid of him, then the things that you had as demands, as grievances, you have an authority which is voluntary, and members of this authority are not entitled to run for elections. And then the people who are currently serving will be banned for 10 years from running for election, some for life, and then some will have to go to jail. Really, if you don't have this kind of very targeted, very focused, a, a big picture kind of proposal, then we are lost. Ruto will be strengthened. Ruto will use money. Ruto will use thugs. Ruto will scatter everything. And like Moi, he will continue ruling. And this time, he will even remove terms of presidential term limits. Because don't forget, Ruto works with ODM and with Azimio right now in parliament. Don't forget. Don't be deceived by the fact that Azimio voted no in parliament. They voted no as protesters were raging at the gate. That's the context. Just 2 weeks ago, Pasaris, who said how beautiful Ruto was, how in love she was with Ruto, how beautiful this Finance Bill 2024 was, voted no. Do you trust that no? And there are many like that. So we cannot be naive. We cannot be stupid. We should not be exuberant. We should not declare victory. We cannot say Ruto has conceded. Ruto has conceded nothing. Linturi is still in cabinet even with the fake fertilizer scandal. The people who perpetrated KEMSA scandal are working with him. The people who killed Kenyans in 2017, 2022, Boynet, Said Kiprotich, people like Koome, who was the head of police in Nairobi during that time, are currently sitting within the National Security Council. Don't be deceived. So that's my first part. Any questions?
Dr. Miguna, can I go first? Sorry.
Wait, Nduta.
Okay.
We need to carry on, right? That one to make our conversation more professional. Thank you so much, Daktari, for giving the history context, contents of what was happening and the context of the demonstration. I think, Mike, we are so many. Just bear with us, and when you ask your question or you chime in, you'll allow us to drop you so that we can, because I have more than 100 people asking Mike. So be that. Daktari, I want you to respond on this as Michael is coming. Due to the consideration of the recurring incidents of violence and loss of life, what step do you believe that the public can take to prevent further killings, number one? And what are the what do you think, again, how can we ensure that the justice for these victims are realized by the families, and what are the roles that the public should play to make sure that we stop this demanding accountability? I know you have to speak about it, but
All
there's
right.
somebody.
I can answer that. First of all, people should appreciate the fact that I've been a victim of abuse and brutality. Abduction did not start today. I keep reminding people that my house was invaded, bombed, and I was abducted. And I was detained for 6 days, tortured, and then later on, 3 days at the airport and sedated. I regained my consciousness in Dubai. Up to today, I've not received my justice. Why do people believe that you're going to get justice from a system that is captured? Why would you believe that these people are going to obey court orders when they have not obeyed the other court orders, the old ones, like mine? I have court orders, the length of River Nile, none of which has been obeyed except one. The only one that was obeyed by Ruto in 2022 is to give me my passport and allow me to come back to the country. So we cannot be exuberant. Tom Mboya's family has not obtained justice, and Tom Mboya was assassinated in 1969. Pinto was assassinated in 1964, and the family of Pinto have not obtained justice. J.M. Kariuki was assassinated in 1975, and the family of J.M. Kariuki have not obtained justice. Kungu Karumba was killed in 1960s, and they have not obtained justice. Arwin Skodek was assassinated in 1969, and they have not obtained justice. Ochoka was hanged in 1982, and the families have not obtained justice. Odhiambo Mbai was murdered, under Kibaki, and they have not obtained justice. Msando was murdered with all of us watching, tortured and killed in Kiambu in 2017, and his family has not obtained justice. The list cannot end. The list is so long. Let us not be people with amnesia or Stockholm syndrome. What I'm saying, which probably many people did not understand, if you do not change this system, if you do not transform this system, if you do not remove the people and their system, they have been there replicating, cloning each other since independence, you will not have justice for the people who are dying. So unless we are suicidal and we want to continue dying, then we can stop fighting. So the only solution is to fight and finish the war. Get rid of Ruto and his entire regime and let Kenyans be free to get rid of this system and transform it once and for all. I left one historical context that is important. The state called Kenya was set up by the colonialists at the Berlin Conference of 1884 in Germany, not for purposes of serving Kenyans, not for purposes of delivering services, not for purposes of respecting our rights. After all, at that time, we were not human beings. The white people did not consider us as human beings. This state was set up to extract raw materials and to use us as cheap labor or slave labor. So, for the interest of the West, which is exactly what Ruto is doing. Ruto spends most of his time abroad. He traveled literally every week abroad. The Finance Bill 2024 was drafted in Washington, not in Nairobi. David D and the rest are just earning for no reason. There is no economic advice they're giving. So my answer to you, my friend Gondi, there will be no justice until the system has been transformed, overhauled, and completely changed.
Thank you, Dr. Jimaji and Wanjiru, go ahead.
Thanks, Hillary. Basically, if I understand Dr. Miguna well, he's basically saying drain the swamp, because I would then, if you look at how these things have been happening, even the abductions and the previous regimes have been doing it. So actually, if we expect any change, then of course we need to change the structure. But that having been said, the question I have, as you explained, the transitional council that you are suggesting, Dr. Miguna, how is it within our constitution, or how would that play out? One. Two, there have been a lot of rumors out there, and I would like this clarified because it's the mind that people out there would manipulate when they're trying to discourage the youths from defending their rights. There are people who actually believe, I know they're misinformed, but we just need to put it on record here, that in the case when the president would, in the, very unlikely event that he would resign, then there would be a power vacuum. That is not the case. So, please, as you answer my first question on the transitional council that you suggest, please give a brief on what happens, because I think they clearly know what happens if any president dies. The DP is there to take over until things are sorted. But please